Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something important. How to learn English. Learning English can be fun and easy if you do it the right way. First, let me share a story. When I was young, I didn't know English. I felt scared. But then, I started listening to stories in English every day. Slowly, I understood more, and my fear went away. Listening is very important. When you listen, you learn new words and how to say them. So, listen to English every day. Stories, songs, or news. It really helps. Next, practice is key. They say practice makes perfect. I practiced every day, even if I made mistakes. Mistakes are okay. They help you learn. So, don't be afraid. Speak English every day. Reading is also a great way to learn. Start with simple books, especially ones with pictures. They help you understand the story. The more you read, the better your English will become. Writing is important too. Start by writing small things, like about your day or family. The more you write, the better your English will become. If you write, the better you get. I used to write in a small notebook every day, and it helped me a lot. Another tip is to watch English videos. You can watch cartoons, movies, or shows. You'll learn how to speak and hear new words. I learned a lot from a cartoon about a dog. Talking to people is also a great way to learn. Find friends who speak English practice online. I had a friend who helped me. We talked every day and I learned a lot. Be patient. Learning a new language takes time. Don't give up. Every small step counts. I remember feeling frustrated, but I kept going and got better. Use a dictionary to help you with new words. Look up words you don't know and try to use them in sentences. I carried a small dictionary with me all the time. You can also play games in English. Games are fun, and they help you learn without feeling like you're studying. I used to play word games with my friends, and I learned many new words. Try thinking in English. At first, it might be hard, but it helps a lot. Start thinking in English every day, and you'll improve. Finally, set goals for yourself. Goals keep you focused. Start with small goals, and as you achieve them, you'll feel proud. Keep practicing, and remember, little by little, you will improve. Chapter 2. Hello again. In this chapter, we will talk about how to speak English better. Speaking is very important when you are learning a language. The more you speak, the easier it will become. Let's go through some easy steps to help you speak English confidently. First, don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes when learning. Everyone makes them, even native speakers. Mistakes are part of learning, so don't let them stop you. Every time you make a mistake, you're going to make a mistake. You learn something new. So, speak English every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. One good way to practice speaking is to talk to yourself. Yes, you can talk to yourself in English. It's a great way to practice without feeling nervous. You can describe your day, your plans, or even talk about your thoughts. The more you speak, the better you will get. Another tip is to find someone to talk to. If you have a friend or family member who speaks English, practice with them. If not, you can find people online who want to learn English too. You can join language exchange groups or find partners who will help you practice. Talking to others helps you improve quickly because you learn how to use English in real conversations. Let's go through some easy steps to make mistakes. Listening is also very important when speaking. When you listen to others speak, you learn new words and phrases. You also learn how to use the right pronunciation. Listening to English speakers helps you understand how to speak naturally. So, try to listen to English conversations, podcasts, or videos every day. This will make you more familiar with the language. If you don't know how to speak English, don't worry if you don't understand everything right away. When you are learning, it's normal to not understand every word, but don't give up. Keep listening and speaking. Over time, your understanding will grow and speaking will become easier. Another important tip is to speak slowly. When we speak too fast, it can be hard to understand. Speaking slowly helps you think about your words and say them more clearly. Don't rush. Take your time and focus on saying each word properly. Also, try to use simple sentences. As you are learning, it's better to use short and simple sentences. Don't worry about making long, complex sentences. Start with basic sentences and build from there. For example, instead of saying, "I would like to go to the park with my friends tomorrow," if the weather is nice, you can say, "I want to go to the park tomorrow." Simple sentences are easier to say and understand. Another great way to practice speaking is to repeat after others. This is called shadowing. You can watch a video or listen to a conversation, or listen to a conversation in English. After that, repeat what you hear. When you learn a new word, try to use it in a sentence. This helps you remember it better. You can also write down new words and review them every day. The more you practice, the easier it will be to use these words in conversation. You can also practice speaking by describing things around you. Look at an object, a person, or a place, and try to describe it in English. For example, if you see a dog, you can say, "The dog is big and brown. It has a fluffy tail." This helps you practice speaking and using new vocabulary. Try to use English in your everyday life. If you go to a shop, try to speak English with the cashier. If you talk to your friends, try to use simple English phrases. The more you practice, the more confident you will feel. Speaking English with confidence is important. Even if you make mistakes, keep talking. Confidence helps you improve faster. Remember, no one speaks perfectly all the time, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep trying and never give up. You can also use apps to practice speaking. Many apps have speaking exercises and games that can help you practice English. Some apps even allow you to talk with native speakers. This is a great way to practice real-life conversations and get feedback. Another way to practice is by reading out loud. You can read a book, an article, or even a simple sentence out loud in English. This helps you practice pronunciation and get used to speaking English. It's also helpful to practice speaking about different topics. Start with easy topics like your family, hobbies, or your favorite food. As you improve, you can talk about more difficult topics or current events. The more topics you practice, the more confident you will become in speaking English. Remember, speaking takes time and practice. Don't get discouraged if you make mistakes or feel nervous. Every day you practice, you are getting better. Keep speaking, keep listening, and keep learning. In conclusion, speaking English is all about practice and confidence. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Practice speaking every day. Listen to others and use simple sentences. Talk to people, join groups, and describe things around you. The more you practice, the better you will get at speaking English. Keep going, and soon you will be able to speak English fluently. Chapter 3. Hello again. In this chapter, we will talk about how to read English better. Reading is a great way to improve your vocabulary and understanding of the language. The more you read, the better you will become at understanding and using English. The first tip is to start with easy books. Choose books that are simple and fun to read. You can start with books for children because they have simple language and interesting stories. Books with pictures are also great because they help you understand the story better. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Just keep reading. As you get better, you can try reading books with fewer pictures and more text. Choose stories that interest you, because when you enjoy what you are reading, it becomes easier to learn. You can read stories about animals, adventures, or things you like. Another important tip is to read aloud. Reading out loud helps you practice pronunciation and helps you get used to the sounds of the language. When you read out loud, you also remember words better. Try to find a quiet place where you can read. Read aloud without distractions. If you come across a word you don't know, don't worry. This happens to everyone. Just stop, look up the word in a dictionary, and try to understand its meaning. Once you know the word, try to use it in a sentence. This will help you remember it. If you don't have a dictionary, you can use a dictionary app on your phone. It's also helpful to read the same book or story more than once. When you read a story more than once, you understand it better. You can also remember new words and sentences. Try reading the same book a few times until you feel comfortable with the language. Don't be afraid to skip words you. At first, you can read for the meaning of the story instead of focusing on every single word. Once you understand the main idea of the story, you can go back and focus on the words you didn't know. This is a great way to improve your reading skills without feeling stuck on one word. Reading is also a great way to learn new words. Every time you read, you come across new vocabulary. Write down the words you don't know and look them up later. Try to use them in sentences. The more new words you learn, the better your English will become. You can also try reading different types of materials. Read newspapers, websites, or magazines. Reading different kinds of texts will help you learn different kinds of vocabulary and sentences. This will also help you become familiar with how English is used in different situations. If you don't understand everything, that's okay. Just keep reading, and slowly things will start to make more sense. The more you practice, the easier reading will become. Another tip is to try to guess the meaning of a word from the context. Sometimes you don't need to know every single word. Look at the other words around the unknown word and try to guess its meaning. This will help you understand the story or text without having to stop every time you don't know a word. Reading out loud also helps with your listening skills. When you read a sentence, you can imagine how it sounds when spoken. This helps you practice both reading and listening at the same time. Listening to how words are spoken will improve your speaking skills. You can also try reading with a friend or family member. This way, you can practice together and help each other when you don't understand something. It's fun to read together and talk about what you learned from the story. Sharing ideas with others makes reading even more enjoyable. Try reading in different environments. You can read at home, at the park, or even on the bus. Reading in different places makes it more interesting and fun. It also helps you practice reading in different situations. As you get better at reading, you can start to read books for older students or even adults. Try reading news articles or short stories in English. These are a little more challenging, but they will help you grow in your language skills. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Just keep reading. Remember, practice makes perfect. The more you read, the easier it will be. Don't give up if it's hard at first. Keep reading every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. Over time, your reading skills will improve and you will feel more confident in your ability to read. You will also improve your ability to read English. In conclusion, reading is a fun and important way to learn English. Start with easy books and read aloud. Don't be afraid to look up new words and use them in sentences. Read every day and try to read different types of materials. Remember, it's okay if you don't understand everything at first. The more you read, the better you will be. Over time, you will be able to practice different types of reading and you will be more comfortable learning the characters. The more you read, the more you will be able to understand the text. Remember, the paper is a must. The more you read, the better you will be. If you cannot understand everything, just keep practicing. The more you read, the better you will be. The more you practice, the better you will be. The more you read, the better you will get. Keep going, and soon you'll be able to read English fluently. Avoid mistakes at the beginning, but those mistakes help you learn and grow. Overcoming the fear of mistakes. Our teacher then added something that really stuck with me. You should have the same attitude as a 2-year-old child, she said. Children at that age make plenty of mistakes when they speak, but they don't care. They just keep trying. And by the time they're 3 or 4, they make fewer mistakes and can communicate very well. You know around 2,000 words, so it's completely normal to make mistakes from time to time. Mistakes are not something to be afraid of. They are part of the learning process. Nobody becomes perfect overnight. Even native speakers make mistakes. Think about public figures like politicians or business leaders. When they speak on television or in front of large audiences, they sometimes make mistakes too. But do they stop speaking? No, because they care more about sharing their ideas than worrying about making small errors. That's exactly how you should approach your English learning journey. Don't aim for perfection right away. Instead, focus on progress. Every mistake you make is a step toward getting better. How I remember words. The next day, on Wednesday, I went to class again. This time, another student named Ryan had a question. I've started reading more, and I feel like it's helping with my grammar, but I'm having trouble remembering new words. I look them up in the dictionary, but sometimes, when I see the same word again, I forget its meaning. Can you help me? Our teacher nodded and said, Ryan, that's a common problem, and it's completely normal. When we learn new words, our brain needs to go through several stages before we can remember them. Well, she explained that there are 5 phases when learning new words. Phase 1. This is when you see or hear a new word for the first time. You don't know its meaning, so you look it up in the dictionary. You see the word again, but you still don't remember its meaning clearly. You look it up again. Phase 3. The next time you see the word, you have an idea of what it might mean. You might recognize it as a verb or noun, but you're not 100% sure. Phase 4. At this point, you know the meaning of the word when you see it, but you can't yet use it in conversation. This is called passive vocabulary. You can't use it in conversation. 5. Phase 5. Finally, you reach the stage where you can actively use the word when you speak. It becomes part of your active vocabulary. Ryan seemed relieved to hear this. So, it's okay if I don't remember a word right away? He asked. Absolutely, our teacher replied. It's all part of the process. You need to see or hear the word several times before it becomes a part of your everyday vocabulary. Don't feel bad if you have to look it up multiple times. Each time you do, you're getting closer to mastering it. How I improve my listening. On Thursday, we had another great discussion in class. One of the students, Lily, she asked a question about improving her listening skills. She said, I can read and write in English, but I struggle to understand people when they speak quickly. How can I improve my listening? Our teacher smiled and said, Lily, improving your listening skills is key to becoming fluent. Listening is a big part of communication, because if you don't understand what others are saying, it's hard to respond. She explained that there are a lot of resources available online, such as podcasts, audiobooks, and English movies. But she said it's important to choose the right materials. When you listen to something in English, make sure you understand at least 95% of the words. If there are too many new words, it's better to read the transcript first so you can familiarize yourself with the vocabulary. She also gave some great advice. When you listen, don't focus on learning new words. The goal of listening is to understand the message. As you listen to more and more content at your level, your listening skills will naturally improve. You'll start to pick up on common phrases, sentence structures, and the rhythm of the language. In conclusion, learning English, or any language, is a journey full of mistakes, but those mistakes are your stepping stones to success. Whether you're learning how to handle mistakes, remember new words, or improve your listening skills, It all comes down to practice and patience. Remember, no matter how hard you try, no one starts out perfect, but with each mistake, you're getting better. At Unlock English, we believe in the power of practice, and we're here to help you every step of the way. So keep speaking, reading, listening, and most importantly, keep making those mistakes. They are the key to your progress. How to improve your English skills. How to improve your English listening skills with books, films, and motivation. Let me tell you about a few great ways to improve your English listening skills. These are methods I have personally tried, and they worked really well for me, so I highly recommend them to you. The first thing I suggest is reading books. Books are a fantastic way to start, especially if you're a beginner or even at an intermediate level. What's great is that you can choose books that match your current level of English. Step 1. Choose the right book for your level. Finding a book at your level is very important. For example, if you're just starting to learn English, you don't want to pick a book that's too difficult. It might frustrate you, but if you choose a book that you can mostly understand, you will enjoy it. Step 2. Read it and learn new words along the way. Here's what you should do. First, read the book, then listen to the audio recording of that book. Listening to the recording while reading will help you improve both your reading and listening skills. You can do this at home when you're relaxed, or even while traveling, like when you're on the bus or train. There are some websites that provide great English books for this purpose. You can visit sites like greatenglishbooks.co.uk or learntoadbooks.com for access to interesting stories that also have recordings. These sites provide books in 3 different levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. This way, no matter your skill level, you can read books that match your current level. You can find something suitable. Step 2. Listen to the news in English. Another thing you can try is listening to the news in English. This can be really helpful because news stories often use everyday language and you can hear how people really speak. There's a website called newsforeveryone.com that provides news stories in simple English. Just like the books, they offer news at different levels of English. Whether you're just starting out or already know 2,000 words in English, you can find something that suits you. Listening to the news regularly will help you get used to the language and improve your comprehension over time. Step 3. Watch films and videos. Apart from books and the news, films and videos are excellent sources of information. Films and videos are excellent resources for improving your listening skills. When you have learned around 2000, "Hey was Rosie as we went out for a movie." So, Rosie. Okay, so now it's your turn. You have to make sentences on your own. Till then, let's move on to the next word. Now, word number 2. Listen carefully. First, it's contemplate. Contemplate. You can repeat. Now repeat. Contemplate. Contemplate. Let's look at the sentence first. He contemplated the situation before giving any answer. He contemplated the situation before giving any answer. So contemplate is basically to think about something. Think deeply about something. So thinking for a very long time or thinking too deeply about something is contemplate, right? People often contemplate before taking a decision. and people contemplate when they are analyzing a situation. That means they're thinking too deeply about a situation, thinking about something for a long time, being very thoughtful in your decision or something. Another sentence could be, she contemplates her future too often. That means she constantly thinks too deeply about her future all the time. I think that happens with all the teenagers and everyone who's growing up. I think normally that happens with people, right? So, a word with context. To contemplate a situation is to think too deeply about a situation or think too deeply about something for a very long time. Now, word number 3. Listen carefully, everybody. It's delusion. Delusion. Now repeat for pronunciation. Delusion. Once again, delusion. That's absolutely amazing. Now, delusion, I think that is something you're familiar with. We hear it a lot. You need to come out of your delusion and accept the reality. You need to come out of your delusion and accept the reality. So, delusion. Delusion is basically a situation that we have created in our mind, which is not real. It's fake. So, delusion can be anything. When you know about the facts, specifically, like if a person knows that the prospect of that person getting promoted is kind of non-existent, like they're not much, because there are other contenders who might have performed better. Now still, this person is thinking that, no, I will get promoted even after knowing that the other person or the other contenders performed better, and they are not accepting the reality, and they're living in this delusion that I'm going to get promoted. That is kind of delusion. That you know about the facts, still, you want to live in that fantasy or the fake world that you have created. That is delusion. So, yeah, you can use this word now correctly. That is delusion. Another sentence could be, he's being delusional to think that he's going to get promoted. He will get promoted. He's being delusional to think that he will get promoted. So, delusional is basically kind of an adjective you're using, and delusion is the noun. Same word, but different versions. So we know that we can use a word in many different ways. Delusion, delusional, when you don't want to accept the reality. So that is the word. Now, word number 4. Listen carefully, everybody. Blemish. Repeat after me. Blemish. Yes, once again, blemish. Excellent. Now, blemish. For that, you need to hear the sentence, there was no blemish on her beautiful white dress. There was no blemish on her beautiful white dress. Now, blemish on a white dress means a mark or a spot. So blemish is basically to spoil an appearance by a spot or a mark that spoils the appearance of something. So a blemish can be the spot of an ink on the white dress. It can be the spot of something that you eat, or it might have fallen down. So, there was no blemish on her beautiful white dress means it was not spoiled, without any mark, without any spot. So blemish is like a spot in the appearance. Blemish is also used for situations. For example, a particular situation is spoiled by a particular action. You can say, it's blemished. That means everything was so good, everything was going so well, then something happened. And that was a blemish in the whole event, or the whole situation. For example, everything is going good, you might be taking a decision for a project, and suddenly, one of the team members who is performing really well and giving ideas is changed and replaced by somebody else. So, you still have the problem. You can say, for example, that in that project everything is doing well, but because that one person was replaced, you were not able to meet the deadline because that person took a little bit of time to get adjusted to this particular project. That means the changing of the team member was a blemish as the team missed the due date for the project. So that is how you're forming the sentences for the word blemish. So it's a word that you can use anytime you want to refer to a situation. Or, yeah, if you want to talk about the appearance, the clothes, yeah, use the word blemish. Word number 5. Listen carefully, everybody, and that is fiasco. Now, fiasco, this word is kind of popular these days. When you speak English, you'll hear it a lot. It's not in spoken English. Fiasco. What is the meaning of fiasco? Let's listen to the sentence first. The whole meeting ended up in a fiasco. The whole meeting ended up in a fiasco. So, fiasco is basically a kind of disaster. Not a natural disaster, obviously, but a disaster means kind of a very bad situation. Something that is ending up in a bad situation, or not as expected. You can say it's kind of a mess. You know when you want to say that this situation is such a mess, that you're not able to understand what is happening or what happened, and it's a complete failure as you can see. So, the whole meeting ended up in a fiasco. Maybe because people were not able to take a decision. There were so many conflicting ideas that the meeting ended up in an argument. And yeah, no result. That means it's a fiasco, right? A complete failure, a disaster of a situation. So, it's used a lot in business English. It's used a lot to describe a situation, anything that is happening. And yeah, if you want to describe it, use the word fiasco. Fiasco is always used in reference to a situation, a particular situation, a particular happening. Another example could be the party turned into a fiasco because two people started arguing. The party turned into a fiasco because two people started arguing. So, fiasco is like, yeah, everything was going great. And then suddenly, everything went downhill. Everything was a mess. So, fiasco. Next word, word number 6. Listen carefully, everybody. It's an easy word. Root, root. Now, root is very easy. It's simple. Root is basically the base of any plant, right? Specifically the cause of any problematic situation, the cause of any problem, why something is happening. And there is also a particular phrase known as root cause. So root is basically when you want to find out what has actually led to a particular situation, the beginning of something where everything began from what was the cause, the reason. That is root. For example, we need to find the root cause of the delay immediately. Let's organize a meeting to discuss the root of this particular issue. So root of the issue means the cause of the issue. What is basically causing this particular issue? Root cause is a phrase that we use a lot, and root means the base or the cause of a particular issue, situation, or problem. Word number 7. Listen carefully, everybody. Word number 7 is exaggerate, exaggerate. Now repeat after me. Exaggerate, exaggerate. Remember, there is a double G in this phrase. Spelling, but we do not say G, right? Exaggerate, exaggerate. Excellent. Now, what is exaggerate? Do not exaggerate the situation by adding unnecessary details. Do not exaggerate the situation by adding unnecessary details. Sales exaggerate. So exaggerate is basically to make it seem larger than it is. So exaggerate is basically to make it seem larger than it is. So exaggerate is, and you're going to exaggerate the price of that particular thing. I bought it for this and that. I bought it from here and that. So that is kind of exaggerating the thing. You get to attend an event and you tell details about it that were not true, and you're exaggerating. That means you're adding something which is more than what the event was. That means you're exaggerating. You're making it seem larger than the reality in reality what it was. For example, a very basic example could be that you stayed in a 3-star hotel on your vacation and you made it sound like a 5-star hotel. Or you're telling everybody that you stayed in a 5-star hotel. It's like exaggerating the thing, kind of exaggerating things. So, the basic example could be that exaggerate is to just add on details and make things so magnificent. In reality, they are not that magnificent, or you make them larger than reality. Another example could be stop exaggerating about the party that you attended, or stop exaggerating the details of this project. Word number 8. Word number 8 is, listen carefully everybody, euphoria. Euphoria. Repeat after me, euphoria. Once again, euphoria. Euphoria. The team felt a sense of euphoria after winning the match. Yes, euphoria is basically to feel extremely happy about something. If you are extremely happy, it's a sense of happiness, a sense of achievement, excitement for something, a particular situation, and it arises due to a particular situation. And that is kind of like Sheely, perhaps meant Assessly or Sheely. For example, the students were euphoric to know their results. My friend was caught up in euphoria after getting admission into her dream college. So, euphoria is basically that sense of extreme happiness that you experience because you've achieved something great. So, it produces from a moment of greatness. For example, winning a match is basically a big deal. Getting admission into your dream college is a big deal. Getting great results after an exam is a big deal. So, all these situations can be described as euphoric situations, where you experience extreme happiness, a feeling of being elated, like feeling like you're at the top of the world. That kind of feeling, that is euphoria. Word number 9, listen to it carefully. Everybody. Feudal, now repeat after me. Feudal, feudal, feudal. All her efforts to make the project were futile as it rained heavily the next day. So all her efforts to make a great science project were futile because it rained heavily the next day. Futile means useless. Futile means that whatever you have done, it's useless, not of any use. So, futile, your efforts for this project will become futile if you do not add more members to your team. That means use less. If you don't submit this assignment on the deadline, your assignment will become futile. So, the assignment is going to be futile because the teacher might not accept the assignment after the due date, after the end date, and hence the assignment is futile. No use of the assignment after that. So, futile is something that has become useless, or a situation that is useless, efforts that are useless. Sentence number 10. Listen carefully, everybody. Inevitable, inevitable. Repeat after me, inevitable. The inevitable appointment of the new CEO was an inevitable decision. I wanted to speak English well, though I wanted to be fluent, but I was shy and made many mistakes. One day, a teacher said to me, "You can be fluent if you practice every day." This sentence changed my life. When you want something, you must work for it. If fluency does not come in one day, it is like planting a tree. You put the seed in the ground, water it, and give it sunshine. Every day, you care for it. And then one day, the tree grows big and strong. The same is true for fluency. One day, a student came to me. She was very sad. She said, "Teacher, I want to speak English, but I always forget the words." I smiled and said, "Do not worry. Fluency is not about fluency. It is about remembering all the words. It is about practice." She looked at me with hope in her eyes. "But how can I practice?" she asked. I told her, "Practice is everywhere. You can practice by talking to your friends, by listening to stories, by singing songs. You can practice every moment of the day. I remember when I was in school. I loved stories. I would listen to them every night. My teacher would was, and I would repeat the words. At first, I was slow, but with time, I became faster. I learned new words, and my confidence grew." Another student asked me, "Teacher, is fluency only about speaking fast?" I said no. Fluency is about speaking clearly. It is about making others understand you. You do not have to speak quickly. You have to speak with confidence. There was once a boy in my class who spoke very fast, but no one understood him. Could I told him, "Slow down, speak clearly, use simple words." He listened, and soon everyone could understand him. He became more confident and enjoyed speaking in English. Fluency is like a journey. You take one step at a time. You do not rush. You enjoy the process. One day, you look back and see how far you have come. I have seen many students who were afraid to speak at first, but with time and practice, they became fluent. There is a secret practice, they became fluent. There is a secret to gaining fluency. It is a simple secret. The secret is to listen. Listen to others speak English. Listen to stories. Listen to songs. Listen to conversations. The more you listen, the more you learn. I once knew a girl who loved music. She would listen to English songs every day. As soon as she started singing along, her fluency improved because she was listening and repeating. Another important thing is to not be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes are our best teachers. I remember a student who was very afraid of making mistakes. She would not speak because she thought others would laugh at her. I told her, "Do not worry about mistakes. Every mistake is a lesson." One day, she decided to speak in class. She made many mistakes, but she did not stop. She kept speaking. Fluency is also about thinking in English. When you think in English, you start to speak more naturally. I once had a student who always translated from his language to English. This made him slow and confused. I told him, "Try to think in English. Even when you are alone, think in English." He tried this, and slowly, he became more fluent. There was another student who loved to talk. He would talk about anything and everything, but he had a problem. He would start a sentence in English and then switch to his native language. I told him, "Try to stay in English. Even if you don't know a word, try to explain it in English." This helped him stay focused, and soon he was speaking only in English. Reading is another way to gain fluency. When you read, you see how sentences are formed. You learn new words. I remember when I was learning English, I would read simple books. Every time I found a new word, I would write it down. Then I would try to use it in a sentence. This helped me remember the words and use them when I spoke. One day, a student came to me with a book. She said, "Teacher, I read this book, but I did not understand everything." I told her, "That is okay. The more you read, the more you will understand." She continued to read every day. After some time, she came to me and said, "Now I understand much more." Her fluency improved because she was reading and learning new things every day. Fluency is also about listening to yourself. Sometimes you need to record yourself speaking, then listen to it. See where you can improve. I once had a student who did this every day. She would record herself reading a story, then she would listen to the recording and find areas where she could improve. This practice made her more aware of her speech, and soon she became fluent. Practicing with a friend is another great way to gain fluency. I had two students who were best friends. They were both fluent in English, and they were able to speak only in English with each other. Every day, they would have conversations in English, helping each other with words they didn't know. Over time, both of them became very fluent. They learned from each other and enjoyed the process. Fluency also comes from using the language in real-life situations. When you go to the market, try to speak in English. When you are with friends, try to use English. The more you use the language, the more fluent you become. I have had a student who worked in a shop, decided to speak only in English with his customers. At first it was difficult, but with time he became more confident and fluent. Fluency is also about being curious. When you hear a new word, don't ignore it. Find out what it means and try to use it in your next conversation. I remember a student who was very curious. Every time he heard a new word, he would ask me what it meant. Then he would try to use that word as much as possible. His vocabulary grew, and so did his fluency. It is also important to have a goal. Ask yourself, why do I want to be fluent in English? When you have a clear goal, you are more motivated. I knew a student who wanted to travel to an English-speaking country. This was her goal. Every day, she practiced speaking English because she wanted to be ready for her trip. Her goal kept her motivated, and she became fluent before she traveled. He would watch one movie every night. At first, he used subtitles, but after a while, he started watching without them. He enjoyed the movies, and at the same time, he was improving his fluency. Fluency is about repetition. The more you repeat, the better you become. I remember a student who loved to repeat sentences. He would hear something in class and then say it over and over again. This helped him remember the sentences, and soon he was using them in his daily conversations. Speaking with different people also helps with fluency. Every person has a different way of speaking. When you talk to different people, you learn different styles of speaking. I once had a student who was very shy. He only spoke to me. I encouraged him to speak to other students. At first, he was nervous, but with time, he became more comfortable. He learned new ways of expressing himself, and his fluency improved. Sometimes it is good to practice speaking about topics you love. When you talk about something you enjoy, you are more passionate, and the words come more easily. I had a student who loved football. Every day, he would talk to me about football. This helped him become more fluent because he was speaking about something he was excited about. Fluency also comes from understanding that it's okay to not know everything. Sometimes you may not know a word, and that is okay. Try to explain it in another way. I had a student who always wanted to know the exact word for everything. If he didn't know the word, he would stop speaking. I told him, if you don't know the word, try to describe it. This helped him keep the conversation going, even when he didn't know the exact word. A student once asked me, "Teacher, how long will it take to become fluent?" I told him, it depends on how much you practice. Some people become fluent in a few months, while for others, it takes longer. But the important thing is to keep going. Do not stop. This student practiced every day and soon saw progress. Sometimes it is helpful to practice in front of a mirror. When you see yourself speaking, you become more aware of your expressions and gestures. I had a student who was very shy. She did not like to speak in front of. I told her to practice in front of a mirror. This helped her become more confident, and soon she was speaking more fluently. Another student asked me, "Teacher, what should I do if I forget a word while speaking?" I told him, do not stop. Keep talking. Sometimes the word will come to you later. If not, use another word. This helped him stay calm when speaking, and he didn't worry about forgetting words. It is also important to take breaks sometimes. Your brain needs rest after a long day of practice. It is good to relax. I knew a student who practiced all the time. She became very tired and started to feel frustrated. I told her, take a break, relax, come back tomorrow with a fresh mind. After taking breaks, she felt better, and her fluency continued to improve. Fluency is also about using the language in creative ways. You can write a short story, sing a song, or even make a video. I had a student who loved to write. She would write short stories in English every day. This helped her practice new words and sentences. Soon she started reading her stories aloud, and her fluency improved. Another way to practice is by teaching others. When you teach, you learn even more. I had a student who was very fluent. She decided to help her friends who were not as fluent. Words and practice speaking with them. This not only helped her friends, but also made her even more fluent. Sometimes it helps to have a routine. Set a time every day to practice speaking English. I had a student who would practice every morning for 30 minutes. This was his routine. I kept going. Slowly, I got better. I learned more and more. So, always remember to be patient. You will get there, step by step. Now let's talk about using a dictionary. Is your friend. It helps you understand new words. When you find a word you don't know, look it up. Learn what it means. Learn how to say it, and then try to use it in a sentence. I used to carry a small dictionary with me. Every time I heard a new word, I looked it up. Then I tried to use it. This helped me learn many new words. So, always have a dictionary with you. It will help you a lot. Another good tip is to play games in English. Games are fun. They help you learn without feeling like you are studying. There are many games that teach you English. You can play word games, puzzles, or even quiz games. When I was learning, I played a word game with my friends. We had to find as many words as we could. Be hard at first, but it helps a lot. When you think in English, you practice your skills. You learn to use the words you know, and you also learn to make sentences quickly. I started thinking in English when I was learning. At first, it was hard. I had to translate everything in my head, but slowly it became easier. I started thinking in English without even trying. So, try to think in English. It will help you get better. Another tip is to set goals. Goals help you stay focused. They give you something to work towards. Start with small goals. For example, learn 5 new words each day. Read 1 page of a book every day. As you reach your goals, you will feel proud. It will motivate you to keep going. I set small goals when I was learning. My first goal was to learn 10 new words a week. Then, I set a goal to read a book in English. Reaching these goals made me happy. It showed me that I was getting better. So, set goals for yourself. They will help you a lot. It's also good to review what you learn. When you review, you remember things better. Look at your notes, read your old writings, or listen to the same story again. The more you review, the more you remember. I used to review my notes every week. I read them over and over. This helped me remember what I learned. It also helped me see how much I had improved. So take time to review. It will help you a lot. Another important thing is to stay positive. Learning a new language can be hard, but if you stay positive, it becomes easier. Believe in yourself. You can do it. When you feel down, remember why you started. Keep your goal in mind. I had times when I felt like giving up, but I stayed positive. I told myself that I could do it, and I did. Staying positive helped me a lot, so always stay positive. It will help you reach your goal. Also, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Everyone makes them. When you make a mistake, don't feel bad. Learn from it. It will help you get better. I made many mistakes when I was learning, but I did not let them stop me. I learned from them, and I got better. So don't be afraid of mistakes. They are your best teachers. Lastly, enjoy the journey. Learning English is a journey. It's full of new things to discover. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. The more you enjoy it, the easier it becomes. When I was learning, I enjoyed every step. I loved learning new words. I loved understanding new stories. Enjoying the journey made it fun and helped me learn faster. So, enjoy your journey. It will make learning English much easier. As we continue on this journey, let's remember another tip. Surround yourself with English. This means try to be around English as much as you can. Listen to English music, watch English movies, and read English signs. The more you see and hear English, the more you will learn. I remember when I started learning, I changed the language on my phone to English. At first, it was hard to understand everything, but soon I got used to it. Every time I used my phone, I learned something new. So, surround yourself with English. It will help you learn faster. Another helpful tip is to repeat. Repetition is very important when learning a new language. When you repeat something, you remember it better. So don't be afraid to go over the same words over and over again. Don't be afraid to go over the same words over and over again. Don't be afraid to go over the same words or sentences again and again. Don't be afraid to go over the same words over and over again. Don't be afraid to go over the same words over and over again. Don't be afraid to go over the same words over and over again. I used to repeat words out loud every day. I said them until they became easy to remember. Repeating helped me a lot. It made me more confident. So repeat everything you learn. It will make a big difference. Sometimes learning can feel boring, but you can make it fun. You can sing songs in English. Singing helps you remember words. Plus, it's a lot of fun. You can also make up little stories with the words you know. This way, learning becomes like a game. I used to sing songs in English every morning. It made me happy and ready to learn more. Sometimes I made up funny stories. Sometimes I made up funny stories with my new words. This made enjoyable. Was scared. I wanted to help them. I wanted to make them better. I watched older doctors. They were fast. They knew what to do. I wanted to be like them. I followed them. I listened to their words. I learned from them. One day, I helped an old man. He had trouble breathing. He could not talk well. His hands were cold. His face was pale. I gave him oxygen. I held his hand. "You will be okay." His face changed. He smiled. "Thank you, doctor." That moment was special. I felt proud. I knew I was in the right place. I knew I made the right choice. I worked in many hospitals. I met many patients. Some had small problems. Some had big problems. I gave medicine. I gave hope. Their smiles made me strong. Their words gave me energy. I wanted to do more. I wanted to save more lives. I wanted to be the best doctor. But then something happened. My father became sick. He was strong before. He never needed a doctor. But now he was weak. He could not walk well. He could not eat much. He slept a lot. He looked tired. I felt afraid. I was a doctor, but I was also his. I was his son. I wanted to help him, but I was scared. I did not want to lose him. I told myself I must be strong, but inside I was worried. I did not know what to do. I took my father to the hospital. I told the doctors, "Please help him." They asked many questions. They checked his heart. They checked his lungs. They did tests. I watched them carefully. I wanted to believe everything would be fine. But deep inside, I was afraid. I had seen many sick people. I had helped many patients. But this was different. This was my father. Days passed. My father stayed in the hospital. I sat beside him. I held his hand. He looked at me and smiled. He said, "Do not worry." But I could see the pain in his eyes. He was weak. He could not eat much. He spoke slowly. I wanted to do something. I wanted to make him strong again. But I knew that medicine takes time. I told myself, "Be patient." The doctors gave him medicine. They said, "He needs rest." I watched the nurses. They changed his sheets. They gave him food. They checked his temperature. I knew they were doing their best, but it was hard for me to just watch. I wanted to help. I wanted to do more.